Hi, my name is Ed Fullman, and I'm CEO of Foxtrot Code. Thanks very much for spending a few minutes with me to view this video. And in this particular video, I'm going to walk you through an introduction to our Codeless Development platform called the Foxspace. This video is one in a series that are designed to introduce you to the various components inside Foxtrot Code. So if you're at this page and you're logged in, that means that you've already registered for an account, which you can get by going to foxtrotcode.com and clicking on Start Free. That'll get you a free account. All you need to do is put in your name and your email address, and you're good to go. You'll be able to do everything that we're showing here. So what I'm going to show you is how to go from this page. After you've logged in, you'll be dropped on this page. Go to this page to your Codeless Development environment we call the Foxspace. So the jump to the Foxspace is done through one way and one way only. There's no way to log in directly to your Foxspace. You go to Foxtrot Code, log in, you'll be dropped on this page, and then you'll have a choice to open the development platform right here. So if I click on it, you'll see the system securely log me into my particular Foxspace, where I've got algorithms that I've created. So that's what you're looking at here. And at this top level, what you're seeing is a series of folders. And inside the folders, you see pieces inside, which you would expect to find, very much like folders on your Mac or your Windows laptop. So we are inside political tweets. Let me just show you where that is again on my view. There are other things you can do at this level. One is you can actually create something new, but we're going to actually just go in and look at this. So I'm going to click down on political tweets, and you see we've got two modular components, two of what we call Fox patches. They're like a Linux patch, but Fox patches like Foxtrot Code. So we're going to click on these and open them up. So just click down, and I'm going to go backwards on the breadcrumb here, and I'm going to click down on this one. We had read Twitter. I'm going to open this one, display political tweets. All right, so this is blown up a little bit so you can see it. Normally you'd probably see them at a smaller level. What's on this page here, which we call the canvas, the blue area is the canvas. Over here, the left panel gives you navigation and some edit capabilities. What you see here are essentially various kinds of algorithmic functions represented by objects. The objects, these square things, are what we call knots, like K-N-O-T-S. Each knot is a functional component doing something different to the data. The string represents the flow of data between the knots. And you can put these in, obviously, in whatever order you wanted to, but the intent here is to show connection and how things are happening to your data as it goes along. There are four major kinds of knots to use. Three of them are present in all Fox patches, all algorithms built on Foxtrot Code at some level. And they are the three R's: reduce, refactor, and reformat. We've taken algorithmic programming and we've reduced it down to these three major conceptual ideas. The way to get a reducer like this one here that accesses Twitter onto the canvas is pretty simple. You go up to this bar, click down on reduced, drag it, stick it where you want, and here you go. So what this is doing is it's exploded into a wizard, and the wizard is designed to help you with some of the major functions that everybody's going to want to do. Creating this particular knot, which accesses Twitter, and just to describe that a bit, we have what's called an index on Foxtrot Code, which has in it 300 million or so of the latest tweets. They're coming in at 100 per second. Let's go ahead and select the Twitter index. That's all you have to do. Type in the word Twitter. Actually, let's just make it a little bit more descriptive. Read Twitter. That's it. Now, we can also add some annotation to this. So why the annotation and why this structure? It's very hard for people to come into a program that does something algorithmic. It's very difficult for somebody to just walk in and get it, understand it. By annotating it with some description, and you'll find a lot of description on some of the other algorithms that are listed on the marketplace. The purpose of that is so somebody can walk in and actually get what they're looking at right away. This is important for anybody that wants to extend the functionality. It's also important for anybody that's just trying to understand why they did what they did, right? Why is it done this way? To understand how to better improve it or how to use it. So by putting these together and by annotating them, we create this easy to understand codeless abstract model of an algorithm. All right, so let's delete this now because we don't need this on the canvas. Now let's just look at what each one of these things do. So this one accesses Twitter like we just did. This one reduces it by 30 days, or reduces it to the last 30 days. So that's right here, reduced by date time. This one here is a constraint, right? It's a reduced by constraint, which is, this one, right here, reduced by constraint. And the way that you build these, like let's say I wanted to build a different version of this, I would attach to the last 30 days, which is right in front of it. Let's say I said Trump. Okay, so this one constrains by these terms. You can use booleans and other things in here. This one just uses one term. Let's just say we wanted to make this lowercase. So, and that's it. It's very simple. Kind of like searching on Google, a little bit more complicated. It's basically a search language that's abstracted by these objects. All right, so let's take this off. This knot is very different from the reducer. You get it here. You just drag this Foxspace connector onto the screen. And what it does is it allows you to connect this modular piece to others. In this case, this is a Foxpatch output connection, which means that any Foxpatch can connect to this connector and use all of this as input to it. So this takes the data from here and continues forward. This makes a connection to that, and it pumps it through this process. Again, pretty small, but does some pretty important stuff. This is a very important evaluation kind of routine. That's a refactor knot. It's called select fields. You're going to do this a lot. You're also going to do renaming fields a lot, like normalization. Okay, so let's look at what happens when we click on it. So the select fields looks at this particular place in your algorithm with the reduction that occurred on this page, right? And it's looking in here at what are the fields, and it's letting you select them. That's what the blue is. So if I wanted truncated, I could select it. And just click it again to deselect it. So only these fields in blue are going to come through, because that's what we need to run the rest of the process here. And then you see it branch off into a couple of different types of experiments. This one's looking at all the data. This one's looking at followers. They have a certain count of followers. So tweets, they have a certain count of followers. And then this one's just looking at the raw data. And this is another kind that actually looks at the search that gets produced and run in the query. So if you're trying to understand like what's in fields, and to look at things at just a high level. That's what you use it for. That's why 50,000 is more than enough. Okay, so these other two do a very different kind of view of the data. It's called a cross filter, and it's going to do the same query, but it's going to display it in a different way. This interface was built for exploring big data. That's its purpose. It has a unique purpose compared to other kinds of visualization tools. If you were to try to explore big data in Tableau, for example, it would be very hard to do. Tableau, TIBCO, Spotfire, MicroStrategies, all those kinds of products, Power BI, they're designed for visualization where you already know the answer. In other words, you're just trying to report it, and you're just trying to see if there's changes in trends. You're not exploring, really. You know what you want, or you're very close. This is a completely different situation. You have no idea what's in this data, and you're trying to find out what's important about it. So what you've got here is we've selected some of the fields that have numeric values in it as our metrics, and metrics would be numeric, so that's what these represent. And you're looking at frequency over counts, right? So there's counts on the x-axis and frequency of how many of these for each count on the y-axis. What you're looking at down here is a histogram that's showing the distribution over time of the tweets that came through. And there's 20,000 that came through here. And then here's a data table that shows these 20,000 tweets in the data table. Now, what's unique about this visualization is what's going to happen next. So as you notice my cursor, it'll change from an arrow to a crosshair. When it's a crosshair, if I click down and drag right or left, I'm going to open up a window. And what you're going to notice is that all these windows are indexed together. They're all cross-filtering. So I can filter on multiple of these at the same time, and what I'm going to see is just a section of it, right? So I'm looking at this date at this time with favorite counts between 29,000 and 100. That's 77 of the 20,000. So why would this be useful for something like Twitter? Well, if you're trying to understand who the influencers are, people that had between, let's say, 50,000 or so and 400,000 favorites. There's very few. You can see just a little bit of a register here. So 279 out of 20,000. These are your influencers, right? These are the people that have a lot of favorite counts on the tweets that they did. So these tweets were very important from the overall volume over the last few days. But maybe what's more important is the friend count. Again, it's not too many because it's not registering them, but there's actually only one out here. So this person has Nansen Mallon from Seaview, Washington, has a lot of followers and a lot of friends. 432,000 friends. It's a big number. Out here, there's 3 tweets hanging out from one person who has a follower count over 1.5 million, or almost 1.5 million, Samantha Ronson. So the point is, if you are looking to analyze who are the big influencers, this is the way you could quickly get to that. And this would enable you to zero in on data that you're interested in. You could, as in this example here, sort out the followers under 100,000 and get a completely different view. And that's the point of this, right? It helps you zero in your analysis and get to the valuable data very quickly. Okay, well, that's a quick overview of Foxtrot Code's Codeless Development Platform. There's a lot more videos out there and documentation for you to see. Look forward to seeing you out there.